Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Namo Gurubhyah. Om Shri Medha Dakshinamurti Swamine Namaha. Om Pathaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Puranamunina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamrita Varshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayanim Ambatvaman Sandadhami Bhagavad Gita Bhagavadveshinim Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedai Sangha Padakramo Gayanti Yam Samaga Dhyana Avastita Tatkatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha Yasyantam Navidusura Suraganaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. I welcome you all to this online session of Gita, which was going in person at the Hindu temple of Allentown. And because of the COVID virus situation, we want to go non-stop. So we have shifted online for all good reasons. And I think this has been going very regular. I'm hoping more and more devotees will benefit from such online sessions, especially from Ashra Vidya Gurukulam. And we have been seeing chapter 3, and we are at the end of chapter 3. We have 3 more shlokas left. So we will get into the shlokas because it's a very interesting concluding section of chapter 3. So what we have been seeing after Arjuna's question regarding what? Arjuna's question was Arjuna uvacha athakena prayuktena papam charati purushaha anichanapi varshneya baladiva niyo jitaha niyo baladiva niyo jitaha kimartam kim karanam papam karoti. What is this? You have been, Hey Bhagavan, Hey Devata, Hey Krishna, Hey Vasudeva, you've been, Hey Varshneya. This is a shloka which is number 36. It's going a little bit back just to bring out the context of the final 3 shlokas, which we will discuss in a couple of minutes. Here Arjuna is asking, Hey Varshneya Bhagavan Sri Krishna, you have been telling about karma and you have been telling about swadharma, everything, but still, why would people still get swayed away by their vasanas, by their dusamskaras in terms of a strong sense of likes and dislikes based on their ignorance? Why would people be pulled into, why would they behave as though they are puppets at the hands of their ragadesha? Then Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, Kama yesha krodha yesha rajo guna samudbhavaha mahashri mahashano mahapapma vidhye namiha vairinam. The vairi, the enemy is Kama, Krodha. Krodha born out of Kama. So Bhagavan is going on from this verse 37, and Bhagavan is wanting to present as a very simple model. So hence he is pinning down the problem on binding baseless binding ignorant based Baseless at the same time. Baseless is ignorant based. Ajnana avrita chetasa. My mind, because of the avrita, avarana, because of the veil of ignorance, just like the veil of dim light would make someone see, the tamas the tamas would make someone see snake on the top of the rope. Likewise, people have this ignorance, anadi, ajnana, and because of they have this moha, they have this misplaced values, and they think they have some values, they think they are following some dharma, but they're only going after the strong sense of what they like and what they dislike based on what pleases, what won't please them, and there is no viveka whether this is going to bring them kalyanam mangalam in terms of ihaloha, in terms of moksha, in terms of paramapurushartha. And so Bhagavan is making the model simple by pointing it to, by asking us to do what Bhagavan, the way Bhagavan is guiding us to work on the binding desires, the desires based on maudhyam, murkatha, the desires based on our foolishness, our confusion. So that staying like that, there is a beautiful analysis about the effects of such desires. Again, remember, desires we want to qualify as binding desires. That's very important, because we are not against good desires. Bhagavan Sri Krishna had this great desire to teach a Gita to Arjuna. Sri Shankaracharya Maharaj had the desire to write the Bhashyam, which is why we are able to study and learn and understand what we understand today. Vyas Bhagavan had that desire. He said he had the biggest of all desires of categorizing the Vedas and writing the Puranas and whatnot. Brahma Sutra he gave. And so we are not saying desire is the problem. That is like saying, as Puja Swamiji would say, and we are not asking you to remove the desires, please. I've told this several times. I don't mind saying it again. If this is all, if this is all it takes for you to expand in your thinking regarding our upaya for antakarana shuddhi and jnana and whatnot. So what I'm trying to say, we are having a problem with the binding desires because that is causing krodha, lobha, moha, and all that is causing so much anartha. That kind of desires, only those kinds of desires we want you to work on, just not for the sake of doing something, not for the sake of helping someone really, but really for the sake of helping yourself, because you're spiritual, you're wanting to make progress. So, after giving that background regarding binding desires, the question which was asked in the last session was, what is the seat of these desires? Adhisthana kim? So, the seat was told as in the previous sloka, which is sloka number 40, Indriyani mano buddhihi asya adhisthana muchyate. The asya kamasya adhishthanam kim uchyate? Indriyani mano buddhi, the locus, the location of our unreasonable and miserable, misery laden or misery to be laden desires, as the seat is indriyani, senses, manaha, mind and intellect. The indriyas bring the vishayas, bring the objects, sense objects, bring in the situations in terms of hearing something which is going to affect us, or in terms of seeing something which is going to affect us, and the mind processes that with its own. Mind gives further place for those situations and objects, and it gets into some confusion, and the intellect, buddhi, again brings those vishaya to itself and makes a decision based on its limited knowledge, based on its a limited knowledge of what is right, what is wrong, incomplete knowledge, ignorance. So the seat is senses, mind and buddhi. These are the seats. Now asya adhisthana is a seat, adhikarana is adhisthana here. And now the seat, the place, the residency has been identified, right? The residency, the resident, the residency, the house where it's seated has been identified. Now what you should do next? You should go there and do something about it, right? So therefore what you should be doing is told in the next shloka, which is shloka number 41. So to get to the 41 shloka, we'll see. That is the, let us see if I'm in the right shloka. Yes. So I'll read the shloka. Tasmat tvamindriyan yadau, tasmat tvamindriyan yadau, niyamya bharatarshabha, niyamya bharatarshabha, vapmanam prajahati, prajahihyenam, vapmanam prajahihyenam, jnana vijnana nashanam, jnana vijnana nashanam. So, siddha, siddhes, yam is parihartavyam. So now we have to work on what area? We have to work on the area where, why should this indriya, mind and senses, or indriyas, senses, mind and buddhi, why should they even allow these vishayas which are going to throw us into misery? Not all vishayas, those vishayas towards which our mind goes, behaves, our mind is drawn towards, even without, as though we are under the control of those vishayas. Those vishayas, why should you even give them the seat in the location mentioned in the last shloka, such as senses, mind and buddhi? So can we do something about not allocating them those, not allocating the vishayas, the objects, the situations, by not inviting the guest, inviting them as guest? Can we do something about it? See, that is a very, very right approach, right? So that is what this shloka is about. So we call them in the software language as a firewall, not software language, firewall. Is there a firewall, or is there a way we can operate on the senses, mind and buddhi, so that way these vishayas that are that are based on our likes and dislikes, if we can avoid these vishayas, if we can naturally turn away from these vishayas. That's the thing here. Tasmat. Therefore means why? Because the indriya, mind and senses, because they are the seats, they are the support, they are the props, they are the tree on which we have the creepers supported, right? That kind of a support, the smart, they being them. Hey Bharatarshaba, Arjuna is called Bharatarshaba. He is the Rishabha, you see a bull, the bull stands out in a crowd of cattle. So the bull stands out. So that kind of a bull among that again one who is standing out from amongst your lineage, you stand out. Hey Bharatarshabha, Tvam yourself, Adav, first and foremost, Indriyani Niyamya. So first and foremost, since these are being the seats, you please take them away. Niyamya, you please take them away. These senses, mind you, guide them away, steer them away in a certain way. Jnana Vijnana. Why? Because because this binding desires and the objects of the desires, they are Jnana Vijnana Nashanam. Whatever little intellect you have, they can destroy. Whatever little experience of yourself as complete, whatever little satisfaction and whatever little cheerfulness you have based on your self-effort to prepare your mind, and your prepared mind, everything can be thrown in a jiffy, everything can be tossed away, all the progress can be undone. Undone by these objects of desires which are binding. Therefore, Prajahi, therefore please give up. Give up in a very sensible way, in a very knowledge-based manner, in a very objective way. So the translation would be, therefore, Arjuna, the foremost in the clan of Bharata, controlling the senses at the outset, destroy indeed this sinner, the destroyer of knowledge and wisdom. This sinner, which is here Kama, as described in the previous shlokas. Desires, binding desires, destroyer of your intellect. So we have to work on the ashrayatvam of indriyas. The indriyas have, or what? They are allowing this allowance, the nature of indriya senses to provide allowance to the sense objects blindly. Provide allowance to any sense, mechanically, blindly provide allowance to anything which goes around. Anything which is in the store, if I want, how miserable I would be, right? So that is how these indriyas recklessly, the senses recklessly, without a sense of right and wrong, without any common sense, the senses just provide the seat for all these objects. Come on, get on me, and destroy me, get on me, get inside, get into my mind. So pass by and get into the mind, and then the indriya's job is done. Then the mind is the one which has to suffer, right? So these things, how to this swabhava of the indriyas to be the ashraya, that is called ashrayatvam. Can we work on that? Yes, we can. Tvam indriyani adav. Adav, that is sloka has got adav word, right? Adav means first. Purvameva. Adav means first and foremost. First means before what? Before even they get to the mind. This sense, kama, binding desires, before they even get to your mind, before they can affect your mind at the sense level, sense organ level itself, niyamya, vashikritya. So you have a say over your indriyas even before that. You have a say over or what can enter and what cannot enter. Okay? So Vashikritya, that is what is called Vashikritya, you having control, you having the remote. So Bhartarashava Papmanam Papacharam Karma Papacharam Kama, because Kama is called Papacharam, Mahapapma. We saw that all in the previous section. Your Papa Punya does not really matter until we have a basket full of desires and we stand in front of Ishvara and say, I have not accomplished this, I have not accomplished that, and all that. Then Ishvara, then he takes cognizance of your Papa and Punya. He said, wow, my God. And now, because you have so much desires, I had to just look into your account. You don't deserve what all you desire. Your Papa's list is so big. So Bhagavan himself makes you feel shy when he reads out all the Papa. Until then, there is no problem. So that is why I am saying this, because the Papa matters only when there is strong sense of likes and dislikes and what I want to accomplish and what I didn't accomplish and what I want for myself, for my children and for only my children and for only my grandchildren. So these things, So once these things are all very binding, then Bhagavan has to do something about it. So he looks into your account of Papa. So he says, you made me look into your Papa because of your binding desires. So that way binding desires are Papacharam. They will lead you to only more Papa. Kamam. Prajahi. Prajahi means Prakrishena Jahi. Jahi in Tamil they say Jahi. Jai. But then here Jahi is to give up. Jahi. Jai Khanu they say. So that is a Jai, like Krishna Bhagavan ki Jai, that Jai. But here Jahi is to tyag karo, give up, if intelligently give up, intelligently stay away. So it is like deflecting your senses, even physically, away from the objects, because you cannot really fight and win Kama. It will be told in the next sloka. You cannot stand in front of your object of desire, in front of those situations which are going to really affect you. You just cannot stand there and expect you not to be affected. It is like in the Ramayana, anyone who comes in front of Vali. Vali is one of the king, Vanara king, and anyone who comes in front of Vali would lose half their strength. So likewise, your sense objects, if you go and stand in front of them, you will lose half your strength. So with whatever resolve you want to stay away, you are already pulled towards it. You go halfway, it comes halfway, and then there is no two, there is only one. It becomes your problem. So you have to, that way, you have to niyamya. That is the idea of niyamya, vashikritya. You can stay away if it takes that from the situations. You have your own boundaries, you have your own limits, and you just don't go and fiddle in the area which you are not very comfortable with, right? Which you know very well is not worthy of pursuing, or even having some even if worthy of pursuing for the sake of even some petty gains, Yenam parityajya yenam prakrutam vairinam. So this is vairi. Here vashikritya. What all you do vashikritya? Manobuddhi indri manobuddhya udyoho niyamya siddhati. Okay, siddhyati. Bharatarashava. I'm just reading in my mind, but I know I'm reading loud for my mind, and then I'll see what else I need to say. This is all from the Bhashya of Sri Shankaracharya Maharaj. Bhagavad. So, see, beautifully it is told. So, if you see the processes, the sense and sense objects are involved, situations are involved, senses are involved, then the mind is involved, then the buddhi is involved. So, it's a chain. And you can break the chain. just they say for the COVID, what? Break the chain, right? So likewise, you can break the chain of you getting tossed around by the sense and sense objects, which are not any worthy pursuing, which you know for yourself, what is worthy and what is not. So after making the decision and staying away, right? So in this chain, which is starting from the objects and ending with your intellect, you can break the chain anywhere, but don't break the chain. Don't try to break the chain at the end at the level of intellect. Our intellect is a baby. We're just feeding it with all the right thoughts, and we are kind of trying to nourish and make it grow with Vedanta. So koshanam api koshaha. It is a very it has to be protected like a child, and as it grows, okay. So there you don't let all the sense objects affect and make wrong decisions, right? Then at the level of mind, it's already got a table full. It has already got a list full of things to confuse, and where it is trying to make some decisions between this or that and all that, and then it is processing based on all its likes and dislikes. So it is too busy right now. So don't even bring it at that level. Then at the level of senses, try to see if we can manage by not letting the senses operate on those objects in the first place. You see that? That is what this shloka is telling you. Jnana Vijnana Nashanam. Why is it so? And it is called Vairi. The shloka also it's called Vairi, right? Am I right? Let us see. Niyamya Bhartara. Jnana Vijnana. It is Vairi. Vairi is enemy. It is not in this shloka, the Vairi word is not there. But in the previous shloka, the Vairi word is there. So here, Shankaracharya Maharaj is bringing the word and is saying why? Because in the shloka it is told Vairi means enemy, right? So because in the shloka what is told? Jnana Vijnana Nashanam. My dear devotees of Ishvara, as I told you, whatever knowledge, little sense of discernment, discretion, little sense of maturity which we have gained with so much hard work, that jnanam, that knowledge, and vijnanam. And vijnanam means what? It will be told later. Jnanam shastratah acharyatah cha atma chatmadinam avabodha. Acharyatah cha atmadinam avabodha. The Atma Jnanam, the Upaya, the means for the self-knowledge, the analysis and the Shravana Manana you have done, whatever you have picked up, that is the Jnanam. And that Jnanam is not for you to blindly and bravely go and stand in front of undesirable situations, go and stand in front of disadvantageous situations and try to win over it and all that. No, that knowledge has to be protected, and these enemy which we just told, which is binding desires, they can throw the knowledge and make you look like a animal sometimes, make you look like an animal, make you look like someone, make you feel ashamed. So that amount of loss will be there in your knowledge. Not just a loss which can be compensated, it can be a loss which would even make you cringe. So that knowledge will be lost in Vijnanam. And sometimes out of the knowledge, we are so clear, all our doubts would be cleared, and we might be owning up this knowledge about ourselves in a very good way, in a very advanced level, but still that owning up can also be affected if we entertain the senses we entertain the objects of senses into our senses. So we have to have a say over that, our senses. So then Vijnanam Visheshatah Tad Anubhavah. So Vijnanam word is the Anubhava, which means you are so clear in your knowledge, your vision is so clear that whatever you know is so clear, it is as though you're seeing. Knowing is as good as seeing. That kind of a clarity, that is Vijnana. But that can also be affected by this binding desires. If by entertaining the binding desires at your sense levels, there, which is where you have to put a block, if I may say. Tayoho jnana vijnana yoho shreya prapti. So why were you coming all the way from different cities to Arsha Vidya once in a week or whenever you can? Some people are attending a course right now. So all this commitment is for what? It is for this knowledge, jnanam and the vijnanam, and this is for the jnanam and vijnanam. And with this knowledge, you want to shreya, you want to get the highest in your spiritual life. You have seen enough of the material world, which you keep it at the minimum for the sake of your antakarana shuddhi, and so you are here for the knowledge and effects of knowledge, but they all will be affected. Nashakaram prajahi. So therefore, work on it. Therefore, please may you take your senses away. Work on the senses, prajahi. So just that it may look like a sacrifice, but it is worth it. Prajahi. Atmanaha parityaja ityartaha. Right? So I think this shloka, we have done enough, we have looked into it quite well. So we can now move to the next shloka. Next shloka, we are, how beautiful the Gita's teaching is. Once we have told that your senses and mind and intellect are the support on which these objects, sense and desires lean upon, desires stand upon, or desires sit over, and you work on that. Now, if you have to shake them away, if you have to have these, your indriyas especially, your senses especially in your way, in your hands, then you need some support. You need to take a support of something so that you can actually effortlessly work on your senses, mind and intellect and whatnot. So what is the support for you with which you can be with which you cannot be the support, with which you can give up supporting what is your support, with which you can give up supporting the binding desires and then encouraging and pursuing them. What is your support? That is the question. That is the answer which is given in next shloka, because the answer is there in shloka that's number 59 in the second chapter, which is the Vishaya Vinivartante Niraharasya Dehinah Sa Rasavarjam Rasopyasya. This is not the shloka which we are going to do. This is a previous shloka from second chapter and 59. Rasavarjam Rasopyasya Param Drishtva Nivartate. And in that shloka, what is asked, there was the example of a tortoise given before the shloka which I read, I think, which is the 58th shloka. Then someone is asking, the tortoise is withdrawing its limbs, but from the sense objects. So likewise, we can withdraw our senses, but in reality, we see as a human beings, we see the human beings whose senses are withdrawn are actually the people who have some sickness. So that is the shloka which I read, 59th of 2nd chapter. I am yet to do the 42nd shloka of the 3rd chapter, but before that we are referring to a previous shloka. Rasarajam rasopyasya, that is the second line. Param drishtva nivartate. Hey, even for a healthy person, with all the rasa, with all the who is finding sense objects to be juicy, and from a distance, and then his intellect doesn't have the enough discernment to know that this is how many things have looked to him in the past, and he has fallen for that, and his whole life is about working on them. So that discernment, that discretion is blinded and is going after. So even for those people who are healthy, such healthy people also, who are not prepared, whose mind is the way I told, it looks like they're still maturing. Even for them, param drishtva nivartate. If they pursue this knowledge, param, and if they pursue the knowledge, and if they see the niratishaya, if they see their self as the source of happiness, which has ever been the source, if they see themselves that they are the ones who are totally unaffected in terms of the shoka and moha of samsara, if they are able to see through the teaching, then their senses will operate the way they want it, in the sense they can easily withdraw from the sense object. So what is the support now? The support I was saying, I was asking, with what support can we give up these sense objects? That support is param drishtva, having seen the reality. So then here this shloka again comes. A different shloka comes here in the 3rd chapter with the similar message, but very beautifully, very sequentially dealt with this time. Very sequential. We need the sequence. We need all the steps, right? So it is very beautifully. We need all to see all the dots. That is, the dots are provided here. Indriyani paranyahuhu indriyebhyah param manah manasastu para buddhihi yo buddhe paratastu saha. Indriyani parani ahuhu. I'm just doing rearranging the words. Indriyani parani ahuhu. It is told as it is told. Indriyani. I will see the translation. Indriyebhyah param manah. Indriyebhyah param manah. Manasah tu param buddhihi. We can add the word para. Buddhihi para. Actually, it's Strilinga, right? Manasastu buddhi para. Buddhihi para. Yah sarvantarah sahatu buddhehe. Now the translation is, they say, hey Arjuna, that the sense organs are superior to the body. The mind is superior to the sense organs. The intellect is superior to the mind. Whereas the one who is superior to the intellect is he, the Atma, is oneself. Okay, so you know where to take support from. Right? So he's giving the sequence at the level. So because we'll see that the subtlety varies. And that is why one can take the support of something superior, quote unquote superior, as it is told here. We'll see that. Okay. So how are we going to see that in detail? By getting into the shloka. Before that, Indriyani parani, I'm just translating line by line. I did a full translation, but it's just a line by line translation. Indriyani paranyahu, the wise man, the wise person say that indriyas are Indriyas are subtler. Indriyas, the senses are subtler than the body. The body word is not there. We have to feed that word. And what is more subtler than the senses? Indriyabhyah param mana, the mind. So that is the word superior in the translation, which is subtlety. Manasastu para buddhihi. Mind itself is subtler than the indriya, but it is superseded in subtlety by the intellect. Okay? Manasastu para buddhihi. Then the next thing, yaha buddhehe paraha tu saha. That person, the wise person, the sakshi, the one who even illumines the intellect is subtler. That is you in reality. Hey Arjuna, it is told like that. So let's look into the commentary of our Sri Shankaracharya Ji Maharaj. Indriyani. So Indriyas are what? You should always know the list of all the senses. 5 sense organs, 5 sense organs of knowledge, and 5 sense organs of action. 5 sense organs of knowledge, I don't have to list to you. But for the sake of doubt, I'm going to list, for clarifying your doubt, I'm going to list the 5 sense organs of action. 2 limbs, then hands, legs, speech. Then speech means the faculty of speech. Then your system of reproduction, that is also under the one of the sense organ of action. And then your instrument for excretion. So your instrument for reproduction, your instrument for excretion, your instrument in terms of hands and legs, 3 and 4, and then the 5th one is your speech. Okay, so all of these they are deham sthulam bahyam. So these things are subtler. What? All the senses which are listed, 5 plus 5. Subtler than what? Subtler than the deha, than the body, which is sthula, which is having a form. Don't sthula. And bahyam, the body is something which is seen, right? Parichinnam, and it has got a certain shape. So because it's seen, it has got a form, it is also limited. Physically, body is limited, right? Chinnam cha apekshya. So compared to this body, the senses are subtler. How do you measure the subtlety? How do you measure the subtlety? I measure the subtlety by saukshmyat, so saukshmyantarats tatve vyapitwadi. So I'm there more subtle because the body is gross, the senses are subtler. Now the senses which you see, the ears and eyes and all that, and the hands and all that, this is the sense organ of action, right? I told you. So these senses which you see are just the outside part. It's a gross part. I can be blinking at you. Someone who is not able to see can still blink, still look like a natural eye, but it may not have the vision, right? So that way the vision itself, the sense of vision, it's subtler. It is not always connected to the eyes. It is subtler than the eyes. The action, the hands are one of those sense organs of action, right? But the hands can look normal, but for some of them, because of some paralysis or something, the hands may not function as much as they would want it to, right? So that way, this is just an outside expression of the sense organ of action, right? So that way, the sense organs are subtler than the body. Then also karanatvat api. So you will see that the gross form is always the the cause for the gross form is always the subtle form. So that way also the difference is there. So then parani, so that is a parani, that is the prakrishtani. So that is a superiority, but superiority in terms of subtlety, in terms of being present at a wider level. Eyes can see, and it can see somebody even a few meters away. But suppose someone is walking behind you, your eyes has no reach behind you, right? You're looking at the front, somebody is walking behind you. So until they come very close, until you won't know that there. So body is there. Someone is walking behind you. Your body is alive, but still you won't know who is behind until they come very close to you, right? Until you that is how the senses have a wider reach out. They're more subtle. They can spread more. Then so this is all these analyses are all done by panditas, by the wise men, wise person. Tata indriyebhyah param manah. The mind is even subtler. Okay, so there is the same logic. What about the mind? Mind is sankalpa vikalpa atmakam. Mind is all about it's all about comparing and contrasting between different desires. Comparing and contrasting between desires, different options, different desires. So this mind is subtler than the sense organs. So mind has to be behind the sense organs for the senses to function. And so that is how the mind is even more subtler. And in a similar way, manasastu para buddhihi, the buddhi, the intellect, which is what? Nishchayatmika, which is the decision maker. When the mind is having a bunch of options, what decides is your intellect. So intellect is even subtler. And then you have to take the support. It's all about taking support, right? Your support should be the subtlest. Let us see what follows the intellect. So let us see about the buddhi. See, tata yaha sarva, we'll go back and look at the intellect. Yaha sarva drishyebhyah. So this is all, even your mind, even your intellect, you know, you can objectify your intelligence, you can objectify your mind and all its ways. You can objectify your senses, right? You can objectify your body. You can objectify everything from your body until your mind, until your intellect, right? That is the thing. Buddhi tebhyah. Then what is the one which is operating as though operating from inside, which is even subtler? Who is that? Why do you talk about someone inside and being subtler? That doesn't sound very familiar. Then let us see. Then we'll tell you who is the one who is subtler in the way you are familiar and in the way we are familiar. Yam dehinam indriyadibihi ashraye yuktah kamaha jnanavaranam dvarena mohayati. We saw how the desires, binding desires cover, or binding desires make us blind when it comes to our intellect, right? So these binding desires which are mohayati, which causes moha, which causes the confusion, these binding desires, confusion. Iddiktam saha buddhehe paraha, desire confusion, and because of the confusion, what happens? And these binding desires take the refuge of this mind and senses and cause this confusion. And indehinam indriyadibihi ashi kamaha and then it creates a confusion regarding what? It creates a confusion regarding yourself. That yourself is subtler. Yourself in reality is the subtlest. You are the Sakshi. You actually illumine even the intellect. But you're unaffected by the thoughts in the intellect or the mind. You just do the job of illumining. And don't take it to be a small job, because even your most even if you're very proud of your intellect, that needs you to illuminate. Otherwise, the intellect is as good as a stone. It is as good as any inert object. The inertia is there until the intellect, but then the inertia is shaken off when you shine. We never allow the intellect to be inert, because I always shine my intellect, always. And so that you, in the form of that Sakshi, so you are the one who has to be, you are the one who's the reality of the I say. When I say I, what do I include? I include my body, but I also include my adhisthana. I also include my sakshitvam, my sakshi swarupam, my swarupa. I include my rupa, I include my form, and I include my formless nature, and I also include my form. That formless nature we can take refuge. Okay, so that is the thing, that is the real refuge. But then you need to know what it is and what not it is, based on the Shastra, based on the right understanding, right? So now that being said, we'll go to the next sloka. We want to finish this chapter today. Then let us see. Tataha kim. So what? So what next? What is coming next after having said that? Evam buddhev param buddhva samstabhyatmanam atmana jaishatrum mahabaho kamarupam durasadam. Hey Mahabaho, hey Arjuna. Mahabaho is one of the names for Arjuna. Evam buddhehe param atmanam buddhva, having this vision, having this understanding, having this appreciation in terms of Shastra, in terms of your Shravana, in terms of listening to a competent teacher, the Shastra, evam buddhehe param atmanam buddhva, taking your Atma, yourself in reality, which is subtler, which is in all three periods of your avasthatrayam, which is in the waking state, which is in the dream state, which is in the deep sleep state. Waking state, body is there as though body is all like alive and active and all that. Sleep, body is as good as not there. And likewise your senses are also, mind is also as good as it's not there. But then you still are able to see. So that means you were there. You see a dream, and then that same you also reports in the morning that I also slept well. I had a dream, but then later I also slept well. I had good sleep without any dreams. So that you who has been always this who cannot be divided based on the waking, dream, or deep sleep. The waker is one person, the dreamer is some other person, and the one who is experiencing deep sleep is the third person. So the third person does not know the first person or the second person. How would it be? That is not you, right? You have been always these things. These states of waking, dreaming, and deep sleeping doesn't put a boundary on you. Doesn't put any changes on you, right? So that you, Atmanam Buddhva, Atmana Samstabhya, and yourself with a mind, with a prepared mind, Samstabhya. Samstabhya would be to firmly establish, what is that? We will see. Kama Rupam Dura, so having affirmed intelligence. Kama Rupam Durasanam Shatrum Jahi. So that Shatru, that enemy called, which is of the form of binding desires, Durasanam, which is very difficult to win over, may you be free from it. Arjuna, the mighty armed, knowing that which is superior to the intellect in this way, having made the mind study with the buddhi, destroy the enemy that is in the form of binding desire, that which is so difficult to understand. So in the translation, what is the speciality? What is the light thrown by our Shankaracharya Maharaj? So Indriyadi Samadhana Purvaka Atmajnanat Kamajaya. So there's a summary, there's a conclusion, concluding shloka, which says, which means samadhana. So in the indriyas and senses and mind, so you have to hold on to something we saw in the last shloka. That you're going to hold on is your true nature and the knowledge about yourself. That is what you're going to hold on, and because that is what you understood from the previous shloka, and you're going to hold on like as if you're going to establish yourself firmly in that knowledge. You're going to pursue that knowledge. That is the way you're going to win over your binding desires by proper understanding. And for this proper understanding, you have Atmana Samskritena Samyak Samadhaya. Samadhanam is one of the word which is actually one of the Shat Sampatti, one of the thing we need to prepare the mind. Samyak Adhaya, you hold on to something very well. You don't hold on to something which is not based on Shastra. Better you invest your mind into holding something which is totally based on Shastra, which is yourself, understanding yourself. And having done that, so that is the way you hold on to yourself in reality. So having held on to yourself in reality, then you would win the Shatru in the form of Kama. So they take different, enemies can be many, but here they have taken the Rupa, the form of Kama, the binding desires, because binding desires are Durasadam, which is very difficult to win over them. And because before you turn back, before you notice, they become you. Your desires become you, right? Dukkena asadaha, asadanam praptihi. So it will be very difficult to bring them in your save, to bring them in your control. Praptiyasya tam durasadam. The reason for this difficulty is because durvijnayam, not everything, you cannot know everything, rhyme and reason of your desires and whatnot, right? You cannot make a total analysis of your desires and try to justify or try to advocate against and all that. So, because they are different attributes. Your Kama can come with different attributes, different flavors, and it can come in different flavors. We know how the Kama can quickly become Krodha, anger, and how the anger can quickly become blind you, make you even undergo memory loss in terms of what is right and what is wrong. So all these things are possible. So Durasadam Durvijnayam, because of all this Visheshana. So this entire chapter is talking has spoken regarding the upaya, regarding the means in terms of karma nishtha. It is all about karma yoga, karma nishtha. How to establish yourself in doing what is right for the sake of your preparation of mind, and what goal in mind. The final goal of jnana nishtha, having steadfastness in the knowledge of yourself. That is jnana nishtha. Having that in the mind, we also saw some of the attributes of that kind of a steadfastness. But this chapter is more about karma, preparing you for that indirectly. So With this, we are concluding this chapter. Om Tat Sat iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita su Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Shri Krishna Samvade Karma Yogo Nama Tritiyodhyaya Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. I seek blessings of our Swamiji, Brahmalin Swamiji Maharaj, and he was there with listening to me this chapter in the beginning, and so we all pray for Swamiji's blessings. He is with us. We'll continue to follow our Swamiji. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.